Hello everyone, Joseph Ramirez back with another gameplay video. This is going to be a Browns versus Commanders deck. Um, Browns, it just kind of threw the Browns together. Their synergy is essentially whenever your run play is stopped, you get an unstoppable pass play. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it, put it together. The idea was sound. Definitely had some really good thoughts. Um, Here I go into a open air stadium at the start of possession into a uh, looks like with thin intense fans, and I'm deciding on whether or not I want to play Heat Wave to cancel the abilities of the tackler. So I end up go ahead and playing the Heat Wave, going all in here. Scared of the hollowed ground, I guess, but not really. He's just kind of going in. And the Washington football team actually says that their their passes that can stop runs stop all runs if it's a short or medium pass. So if it's a pass play on offense that's short or medium, then it ends up stopping all runs if it can stop a single run. So if it can stop left or right or middle, it stops all of them. So not a bad defense, scheme. The Redskins actually are really good. Here you see I go run left, and he stops it with all runs. Yep. And so this is going to stop my first down play, which then is going to say that my next pass play is unstoppable. And so with Amari Cooper, it says whenever your if your pass play is unstoppable, then you get double yardage. It looks like end of turn, draw a card. So we draw Outperform. He's going to play Sideline Support prior to selecting play. Okay, he's taking a look at card he wants to put in his hand. The other he's going to put on the bottom of the deck. I didn't really find the synergy I really wanted with the Browns. I thought it just kind of seemed like it was missing something offensively. I mean, the Cooper thing is kind of cool, but in retrospect, talking about it, you have to fail 2 plays to successfully get double yardage on 2 plays, which can be okay, but it's very telegraphed against things like prevent defense and things like that, which you'll see. Here he goes. I'm going to go short pass on a 15-yard short pass, which it's unstoppable. It's going to make me go 30 yards here. And with intense fans, no one exhausts. Basically, they stay ready. So all of my receive, tackle, run effects will be in effect the entire drive. So I will gain my 30 yards, go to third down, draw an action at the end of the down. That's sideline support. Looks like started down, I won't have anything, but prior to selecting play, I'll be able to play my sideline support. I choose not to go straight into picking a play here. As I was saying with the Browns, I think, oh, here we go. Run middle, run right, gets stopped my run middle, so it gets a stop, which means my fourth down will be unstoppable. I'm currently at the 45 though, so I would need a medium pass or higher to get into the end zone this round. I do draw an action at the end of the play, which is another intense fans. Like I was saying, it just seems like there's something missing. I really liked that they had Sheldon on the bench, bench ability, who says you can discard a non-play card to take a guy from your bench, put him in the field, replace him with a guy on the field. And there's a lot of utility in something like that. But when you look at it, prior to selecting play, gonna play sideline support. But when you look at that, like they only have Myles Garrett. And here we go. See, I'm on fourth down. I need 45 yards. He's gonna play prevent defense on me, which at this point, like I don't have a counter or anything to stop this, so I'm just gonna get 20 yards, which is still gonna put um Colby on the 25, which is fine. You know, no big deal. That puts him at the starting range from there, but it's like basically like he got the ball. So not good for me in this particular case, but that's okay. I think we realized that that was my first. Well, I let him know that Chase Young was on the board, so my sideline support was my first action of the drive, so I didn't get it. So if you look at Chase Young, very, very good on defense on the Washington Redskins. He says if you and your opponent plays their first action card of the drive, then you cancel it. He's going for short pass, go medium pass on a 4. So I'm going to hit it. It's going to be 30 yards. Cooper could double it, making it 60 yards, which would get me in the end zone. However, he did play prevent defense, so it's only going to be 20, which is going to put it 25, and we're going to turn over the ball. Very unfortunate first drive, even though the deck did what it needed to do. Just essentially, because it is so telegraphed that you just kind of see it. It does the same thing. So looks like Colby's going to try and pick 6 here. He got the 9, but not the 5 that he initially needed. So pick 6 is not going to hit. Okay, so we turn over the downs here. Going to the other side. Bringing out the defense, which in retrospect, looking at the defense, I probably would have looked to have a better defensive layout too. I went with the 2022 Garrett, which I think is not. There's so many other better Jason Garrett's than this. He's on a pass play grit. Um, if you hit the grit, then your opponent loses 10 yards instead of yards gained or lost. Okay, so I get my training recall off of sideline support. Put the card to the bottom, draw an action, draw a play card for the play. Then we're going to choose short pass. Looks like so like I said, Washington pretty good team. They have the makes of having a pretty good team. Their synergy card real good. Looks like he is going for the short pass. But we stop it. And it they have a good synergy going with their team synergy, but with Carson Wentz, he kind of just turns off all tackle abilities that are more well anything really. It says they reduce them by 10, which means like if you have a tackle for 10, it makes it do nothing. If you have a tackle for 15, then it's only 5. 20 is only 10. So he's real strong, especially in a synergy format. And then you've got Dotson, who basically says like if you have a stopped run, you can actually turn it into a short pass, which makes them very very hard to defend. In this case, look, I'm going to clean slate. I really would like to clean slate the intense fans here. but looking at it, like I would have to turn off Heat Wave just to make sure that my guys actually have abilities, which is pretty unfortunate. And that this Miles Garrett is tackle pass determined grit on a 3 through 6. If he was just tackle determined grit, he would be much stronger. But being that he's tackle pass, makes him, I mean, it's not very good when you look at it. Like, there's just other things that are much better on defense. So here you see me playing clean slate. Then I give pass priority back to Colby. Colby ends up passing, so then I play training recall. He passes, I pass, so now I can play my training recall. Training recall is going to allow me to go search my deck for any card I want. Then at the end of the play, I cannot draw a card. Okay, gonna grab the Not This Sunday, put it to hand, and then clean slate. Here I decide I'm going to destroy the um, intense fans, and then make a mistake here. It's like, nope, I need this. Yep, I need the I need the heat wave to be gone so that I can have an effect again. So we do that, and here we sit with all our 5 cards in hand, so we can't draw at the end of down. Doesn't matter because we're already there. No big deal. Second down, 5 ticks on the clock. Drew an action. He goes medium pass versus my run left, run right, or run middle, run right. And it does hit on a 6, so it is a run, is a medium pass. And he says he's going to designate Dotson, but we're going to go with on-field adjustments first, if he had any. And I believe we are kind of, talking out a little bit, just to kind of, um, get insight back and forth, is kind of, talking about certain things. But we do run the clock here, as you can see on the left-hand side, trying to stay within the 50-minute tournament setting. So here I go. I'm going to go ahead and play outperform to make it miss. And then he's got the outperform, which I'm gonna not this Sunday because I really need him to miss this pass, especially if he has anything like, oh, and there it is. This is a 2020 meta. We laughed about this because it was outperform versus outperform into not the Sunday, into not the Sunday. And so he gets the win on the trade-off here. I still get to do Miles Garrett. So if this happens, we're still solid. Looks like 0-7, missed it by 1. So instead of gaining 30 yards, he's only going to gain 10 instead. So it does miss it. And since he does miss it, he's going to get a medium pass for 30 yards. Third down, 3 ticks on the clock. This is an extremely fast first half. Like, both players have possessed the ball. The Browns held the ball for 4 downs, turned over on downs, and now we're seeing, the Washington football team go down to third down with 3 ticks on the clock. So, definitely not bad. As you can see, it's a pretty good start here. As we talk about it, draw a play, get ready to run a play. He's going to reload his 5 cards back in, which he basically said later he just wanted to do that because he had his Not This Sunday in there, his Outperform, which later on you'll see that Outperform come back into play. So definitely good to get it shuffled in, even if it is pretty early. If you use your power cards early, it just kind of gives you another. Like here we go. We can go again. Have our stuff over. So good. Oh man, here we go. So this play is really, really strong, but also really, really strong against itself. That's an 8. So an 8 times 5 is 40 yards on the run, on a run right. And then on the run right, Peterson can get another 10, so that's 50. That's going to put him in the end zone since he is at the 45. And anything I were to tackle with, which I only have one guy who tackles on a run and doesn't do anything in this case. So Colby gets in with the score and puts the time to 1. Browns have one shot to try and get in there. And the Washington football team is up 7-0. Draw a training recall at the end of the down. Still having intense fans ready. I don't know if it's worth it. We do have 3 timeouts. So we do have 3 timeouts. We can take the length of the field. We can do our shenanigans. Pretty much still can do a whole drive here with this 3 timeouts here, which is interesting because if we take a look at the time, I mean we're 32 minutes in, we're just about 33 minutes in. I play intense fans at the start of possession, and then we go to running the play. And the reason the time matters is because 50 minutes on a scheduled time for a tournament setting is all you get. And so if you can, move um, at a reasonable pace, you'll be able to finish. However, there's a lot of, if you're new or back and forth or, talking about certain phases of the game and things like that, that it could come into play where you'd be a lot slower. And you just get, have to start getting, used to the rhythm and things like that to, speed up the game on your end. So, and I do have to say, man, this time change is a bunch of poop. He's going long pass, medium, short, medium pass, and I'm going for the long pass. But as I was saying, the time change, he's gonna false start me, which I kind of knew we were gonna hit when we get the false start. So we do hit the long pass, and then it's gonna get false started. Unfortunate that we did hit it, and that just kind of happened. Um, However, like I was saying, is that the time change, the spring forward is always the worst time of the year. It definitely hit me for sure. I get 2 of the same card to decide, hey, I'm going to play this card because it's a run middle for 7. He probably won't expect it. If he does, triggers my ability, no big deal. He doesn't, but it's only 3, which is 15 yards. Yep, and on that 15, I'm going to have to really take it. Again, talking it out a little bit here with 30 minutes still on the clock here. 25 minutes in, still having a conversation here. Chubb says if there is a weather card, gain 15 or gain 5. So my 15 will go to 20, and then you can just tackle with this guy to pretty much make it go nowhere. Big unfortunate for me. I took a timeout, go to second down, go nowhere. Was a pretty tragic play. Break tackles coming in a little bit later than I would expect. Kind of needed it. But it's very interesting because if I play it, it's going to get canceled by Chase Young because it does count as an action power up. So it looks like he's going to play fatigue just to burn it. Tell him I'm going to play break tackles on. I don't know yet. I'm like taking a look over the board again. I'm going to put it on Amari Cooper, which I believe this would have been my first action power up. So may have been a mistake that neither of us caught, that it would actually got canceled by Chase Young. That's maybe pretty huge to the game here. Medium long pass, going on run right. It is again a 3, which is 15. Talking about his guy who has run up to basically 5 yards fewer with each Redskin he has. So he does play circuit breaker on break tackles during on-field adjustments, which it wouldn't have really made a difference. He would have had a circuit breaker still in his hand stuck, and I would have had to have done something other than break tackles. But I think we both missed that piece there. But I did, still run, went 0 yards, took a timeout. We're sitting at third down, 1 timeout to go. Still trying to see if we can find some points, maybe a field goal or a miraculous touchdown, but we don't have anything that speeds up. And here I go. I'm going to hit clean slate, and that draws me a field dynamics, which is pretty dead. I have to double check on Chase Young. I don't know if he's an automatic ability, an automatic trigger where it's mandatory, because that would have really changed up a whole lot in this game. That clean slate popping intense fans into field dynamics all would work, but we wouldn't have had. You would have been stuck with a circuit breaker in hand, and I would have had no break tackles on that down. Played it out just a little bit differently. But he does end up hitting the strip sack. He hits the strip sack for 0, getting the ball back at the 20. So he gets to bring his offense back on with 3 timeouts. So with the turnover downs, he does take a timeout. Colby really had a great grit check this game. We talked about it. It just kind of really went into his favor with the grits. You see the first one here, he gets a 0 on the strip sack, which gives him the ball. And so we went from trying to play catch up prior to the half, going in playing 7-0 to 7-7 into now we're in the back foot. He's got 3 timeouts. He's got still 2 timeouts left, and he still has only 20 yards to go before he gets in. So this game definitely goes in Colby's favor with the grit and a lot of things that start to happen and just kind of go down his way. So and at this point, there's no point in playing the field dynamics because we know that it doesn't do anything for him on offense, but it does do something for him on defense. Now we'll see that we run into the trap because we go in and realize that we're having to get the ball in the second half. We'll give him the ball in the second half. And so we're stuck with field dynamics for a good while. And just becomes a card that you sit on, for a while. I think the card is much needed in team synergy games for specific matchups. But like when you have something like this where it doesn't really do anything for them on offensively, and it just kind of draw it there or draw it in between the start of possession, it's a really, really bad card to just kind of sit there. So, and clog up your hand. So this is another good one for Kobe. He does have a 9 on a run. Have nothing, stops run right. So it looks like he's going to get in with Adrian Peterson. I say, why not? I'll take my time, my 1 timeout. Oh no, I told him I'm not gonna take a timeout. Just gonna, take my wounds, go down 14-0. Then I bring my defense back onto the field for the second half. I think this game ends if you look at so with NFL 5, team synergy, it's one of those things where when you look at the team synergy, when we talk about the team synergy games, unless you have yourself a real stout game plan, and this is true to even when you look at wild format, right? When there is the ability to play anything. The game, if you don't watch it, going up 14 pretty much says the game's over. Now we got 20 minutes still left in this game. We've got plenty of football to work with. So taking a look at it, I'm going to play some training recall. And I'm going to respond with a reload. You do get to see some nifty little things here. So reload will resolve first, shuffling up the deck. And then I can training recall, go get anything I want, which I'm going to go grab Not This Sunday. And close it up. Don't think we've noticed that we switched sides yet. Okay. Going to grit check. 9 and 3. The 2 does not hit. It misses by 1 yet again. Misses by 1, 7 last time, 2 this time. I needed a 3 through 6. It was so unfortunate that, again, it just happens. It's one of those things that just kind of goes through. You're like, well, yeah, that was a thing. And so not a whole lot you can do about that. We talked about it during this. We kind of joked about it to say like, hey, when the grit checks go into Colby's favor, he usually gets a ton going in his favor correctly, and mine do not go in my favor. So it ends up being a real tough battle. Here we are, still about 17 minutes in. We move him to the right direction so that he can add up his short pass. I go straight into drawing a play, playing a play. And then, yeah, he's still at first down because he used his receiver ability. Basically gives him, his extra 10 yards at the down marker, back 1. Another short pass. I block short pass. Unless you can play extreme defense. And here he goes with a draw off sides, gain 5 yards, put himself at the 40. I'll just take that. Okay. Just take it and throw the card out there. And it's a run right. And he's going 9. And I've got 45 total yards. Looks like he's going to be able to get into a score on the right. And that run right has done him a lot of good. My defense has no block for run right, so I take a look and see how many he's actually playing. I count up 3 total. He says, I think I got 1 more. I said, if you have 1 more, it's got to be in hand. He says, you might not have 4 in the deck. But yeah, it did very well for him, this particular game. And he gets in, he goes up 21-0. And it is looking really good for the Washington football team. Coming back out here, draw at the end of the play, which preseason game doesn't do a whole lot. Especially we know that the Washington football team has no superstars in it, but it's in there, of course, for the teams that do have it. So that's the give and take that you do with that, keeping it in there. So at the start of possession, I try to play field dynamics. Field dynamics, though, gets canceled by Chase Young since it's the first play or first action that I played this round. So Chase Young cancels it. So again, that's the only time that I'm able to actually do it. And Chase Young's ability just put a stop to it, which makes the Washington football team like really good in that sense, where like if you're running against a team where you have trouble like this, where you need to be able to run your run plays, and you try to stop it, you have to play something first that does have any timing point to be able to play an action and let it get burned by Chase Young, and then play your field dynamics to cancel it. Because if not, it's not going to happen because there's no other timing point except start of possession. So it's just going to put you in that where he's just never going to happen. So it's pretty strong. He goes for medium pass on a 5. I've got short pass on a 9. So it's going to be a 4. And it will. Oh, sorry, I went run right. And you went run middle, run right. So it does get stopped. Which means my next pass play is unstoppable. At the end of the play, draw an action. .13 minutes still on the clock. I do break tackles on Amari Cooper. I'll play. And we're going to immediately play that play. He goes medium pass on a 9 plus 7. It's a 6. A 2 through 8. It's going to hit. Contemplating here. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper, obviously, for double yards. Cancel anyone he actually tackles with, which I don't believe he really has much of anything to tackle with. Yeah, this is where we caught, looks like Phil's dynamics being canceled, but he hit the right call on the last play anyway to do a natural stop of the run. And then so he's going to out of position Amari Cooper. I'm going to not this Sunday. But since there was no intense fans, he does go sideways, making it a 60-yard play. Going to be all the way up to the 15. Third down. 7 ticks. Draw an action at the end of the play. Looking pretty okay here. Obviously down 21-0 doesn't seem very okay, but we are doing things. Because contemplating I actually can do Deshaun Watson, which under intense fans I wasn't able to exhaust. So, those effects just kind of been sitting there for a while. Not really doing a whole lot of anything. Goes to picking a play. Medium pass. He does medium and long pass, which is going to stop me here. Take it to 4th down. 2 ticks on the clock. End of the play, draw an action. At this point, we say, you know what? Let's do it. You know, getting the goose egg at this point was just we took our L. We play Heat Wave. I mean, at this point, we're just like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's just roll with it. Um, really, the Heat Wave's gonna hurt me more so than it does hurt him again, like we were talking about before. But he's gonna then clean slate, and then I'm going to Deja Vu, and in response, I'm gonna Circuit Breaker. There's a lot of good chaining going on here, and so backwards compatible Circuit Breaker pops the break tackles, and then I Deja Vu, bringing back my break tackles onto another player, which is a pretty cool little nifty trick. Of course, his clean slate's gonna pop the Heat Wave, so now he's got his tackle abilities back. But then I've got Odell. Stop that, but I'm kind of premeditating that I'm going to do a pass play. So it kind of gives up the impression here that, hey, you kind of showing your hand here, but you don't have much. So take a look. He goes short and medium pass. I go medium pass, so he was able to catch it there. Turnover downs on the 15. So Browns do Brown things. Almost get there, but not quite. So twice, got inside the red zone and then missed each of those things. So was definitely a learning experience, but it was good to bring you guys this game. There's still 7 minutes to go. We've got about 3 ticks left. I don't know why Kobe moved the ball to the 25. He would have taken possession there at the 15. I think he just is like thought it was a change of possession kick. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see if that would affect the game in any way. Catching it, back on the replay, but taking a look, and like I was saying before, just good to let you guys get some content, be able to see some of the footage, some of the gameplay, and of course see some of the interactions. I think that's really good. So you get to see the of how some of the layering and how it works, layering wise. That you can go, Deja Vu into Circuit Breaker. Circuit Breaker pops, getting Deja Vu to trigger right after, and then bring it back and put it on another character, or in the back and forth responsing, or how we talked about the training recall into well, we did it backwards. It was clean slate, popping a card, then training recall, or training recall into clean slate. That way you could, vice versa. You pop the card, or no, it was reload. Sorry, reload. So we play training recall, then we play reload. We reload the deck, then you can training recall whatever you put back in, let it go into your hand, and then So there's those kind of little interactions that you can see, where you can get a little bit of a ceiling of the game, kind of making sense back and forth. Just cool ideas. It's cool things that you guys can see, and that's really, really good. Looks like Kobe gets a run right. And this is going to be for 6 times 5, so 30 yards. He is going to speed kills, which, if we remember correctly, this would put him at the 5. I go ahead and outperform it down. So this actually, he would have actually went down to the 5. Then it would have been outperformed from a 6 down to a 4. So it would have been, or it was 40 down to 20. So 20 to be, and then and he's going to answer replay, play it again. So, yeah, 6. So 6 times 535. Bring it down 2 to 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Double it, it's 40. Plus 10 is 50. He was at the 5. Yeah, I think he's there now, right where he should have been. Maybe 5 yards less. And then here he goes again. He's going to instant replay into a speed kills, doubling it, and I go to bring it down again, and he goes to bring it up again. And so it's going to get him in there either way. So as you can see, and there is about 3 minutes. I'll pause it here. There's 3 minutes, 24 seconds to go. The game is over. There's 1 tick left on the clock, which pretty much just, is going to be the game. He goes up 28-0 in this game. What a shellacking of the Browns getting beat here by the Washington football team. Again, keep an eye out on the Washington football team. Washington football team is a really, really strong team. And even though I put together this Browns team just on a quick, plenty of upgrades that can be done offensively, defensively to kind of make it work. But now that you see how their synergy works, you can kind of build something a little bit more stable. But definitely Washington football team very strong. Being able to see that, maybe that could be one of the decks you see during the tournament play for league only. Real good solid start. Then we can try and get Colby's list that we can profile it or whatever and take a look at it. That way we can see what that does. So anyways, folks, you got 3 minutes still on the clock there, so we're able to finish the game within time, and that's with a lot of debating back and forth and things like that. So definitely can get done. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. Another game as well. You guys have a great rest of your evening. Hope you had a great weekend. Have a good week. Take care.